Hello, YouTube. This is Piss and Moan, and we've got a movie review for you today.
We do?
We do.
What movie?
The Society.
Oh, the Society game. Wait, no, that's the other thing.
Yeah, that's a thing that we actually
That is a thing, but not
Ooh,
this
should
thing.
we do a review for Society game
Only
when we're done?
when it's done.
It's done or we're done?
When we're done watching Society game, once the fall of Sangyuk is complete and the rise of MJ
runs.
is complete.
So, we're ready to review it then, right?
Yeah, we're getting there.
So, today we're going to be reviewing not a Korean game show, but instead
A Society.
Oh, wait, it's just Joker. It's not even the Joker.
Joker.
I'm good at this. Now, I think we actually have some differing opinions on this one, so I think it should make for a pretty good review today.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
So,
yeah. I went and saw it day before yesterday.
I saw it quite a while ago now. It's probably almost a week. I think I saw it on Friday.
I was in California.
I actually went and saw it with my wife.
I was at a convention bringing in all of our fans and having a chat.
All of their fans? So
yeah, mostly my family. They don't like you.
You said fans. Like, our fans are me and you.
That's
actually,
true.
all our fans are my friends.
Are you sure?
My coworkers.
Well, I suppose.
We have 3 subscribers. One's you, one's me, and one's my friend.
Okay. I don't know. I suppose Discord people haven't found the new channel yet.
Disappointed in you, Discord people.
They don't care.
So, I was really nervous about this movie. I got my hopes up, I think, a little much after, like, the standing ovation at the film festival, and, like, it got talked up so much. And I went and saw it with my wife, and we both came out of it kind of like, ugh.
That's about where I'm at.
Like,
well, I'm more.
I was very like, ugh. It's a very down movie. Not to say that it's not great. It's just, it's not a happy movie, and I'm not a huge fan of happy movies. I'm not a huge fan of unhappy movies. I like to come away feeling better about myself and the world after a movie. But I will say, the movie really made me think, and I've watched some, like, theory videos since I watched it, which kind of put an interesting twist on it.
Okay. I thought it was alright.
I thought it was great. If I had to describe it in a nutshell, because it's tough to, I don't know, it's both tough to talk about without spoiling it, when it's like, it's spoiled. It's the Joker movie. It's the origin of the Joker.
Yeah, he's going to be the Joker by the end.
We all know where this is going. I think the acting was absolutely phenomenal.
The acting was very good.
Joaquin Phoenix, I would be surprised if he doesn't get an Oscar, Emmy, whatever,
at least
one
a
of those
nomination.
Things. Yeah, at a minimum a nomination. I don't see how. Well, apparently that whole system's really corrupt, so I could definitely see him not getting the award. But
no,
from what I've seen this year, he definitely deserves it.
He acted very well, and he looked very Jokery.
This is probably my favorite rendition of the Joker since the cartoon. I really like the Dark Knight one as well, but I think this takes the cake over that one.
You're weird.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was an interesting commentary on mental health,
Okay.
But other than that, it was just kind of a movie.
I thought I described it as, I don't know, how do I put this? Like, it's not innovative. It's not super new. It's not super fresh, but it is impeccably executed, in my opinion. My only complaints are that it wasn't, like, special enough or unique enough or maybe innovative enough. But at the same time, like what it takes and what it starts with and what it works with, it executes so well. I think the social commentary that it touches on, including mental health and a number of other topics, is extremely topical for right now. And I think the social aspects and the commentary on it is why it got such a bad critic score, because their complaints seem so odd.
I have a lot of complaints. Well, maybe not a lot, but I have enough complaints that it takes it down from being an excellent movie in my head. I like some of the commentary. I like the commentary it has on modern society. Problem is, I don't think it does much with it, and I don't think the climax did a good job of centering on the Joker. It was just a general climax. There is a lot of convenience for the movie to get where it was going.
I definitely want to get into the spoiler section because I can't wait to discuss that stuff.
I do too.
Because I suspect I see where you're coming from and have come to the complete opposite conclusion. And I love those aspects of it, and I'd like to dig into that more. I don't know. Is there anything more like non-spoiler you want to discuss?
Well, we have to give it a score. You're the one who always wants to give it a score.
I'm trying to get somewhere before I throw my score down on it.
It's just... No, it was a movie.
I think it's probably top 2 of movies this year. Now, that's not saying a whole lot, because that puts it with Anna, because there's not been great movies this year.
Yeah, here's my question. Is it top because of the movie, or is it top because of what you've seen about the movie?
No, I came out of the movie with it being a 10 out of 10. I literally walked out of the theater.
That's not what you texted me, dude. You said you didn't know how you felt about it.
Yeah, because that not because I didn't think it was a 10 out of 10, but because I was so mixed on it, like, emotionally. I've got a very bipolar feeling on this, because it's not my kind of movie. I didn't enjoy it, but I feel that it's a 10 out of 10. Like, if I were to, like, that's, like, sum up my opinion on it in, like, as short a thing as possible, like, I didn't enjoy it, but I think it's a 10 out of 10.
Okay.
For what it is, I don't think it could have been executed better, but it's very much not my kind of a movie. It's kind of like how I can rate Fast and the Furious or Deadpool as my favorite movie of the year, even if I don't think it is a 10 out of 10 or the best movie of the year. This is the opposite end of that spectrum for me. It kind of falls into like that category almost of horror because of things that just aren't for me.
Okay, yeah, I guess it. I was just kind of on the whole thing.
I think I'm gonna stick with a 10 out of 10 though. I'm truly impressed with what they created here.
I hate being asked to give scores on movies, as I have to bring up every time, because I couldn't give you a number at this point.
Give it an arbitrary number.
I'll give you a 5 out of 10.
Even worse than the critics.
You know, fine. I'll give it the critics a 7 out of 10. There you go.
He's very hard fast on these
the movie. I don't want to do them at all. I will change them as much as I feel like. The movie is crafted fine. It functions.
I like the idea of kind of, it's something we've gotten away from, or at least I have, but like if you're seeing one movie this year, this I would recommend be the movie. It had such a lasting impact on me, and I thought about it so much, and I discussed it with my wife, and I couldn't wait to discuss it with you. It's been rolling around in my head. I've recommended it to everyone I've talked to. It's my number one recommendation of this year.
And I've told people who've asked me not to go see it, so.
Don't bring your kids.
Mostly,
Jesus,
mostly I told my parents not to go see it, so.
Yeah. I don't know if your sister would like it either. I think Eric would. No?
Nah. I don't think he'd care. I don't know. It's a society.
I don't get that. I've been using it because you have, but I literally don't know what it is.
Okay, so there's an old meme It was, there would always be some sort of hardline fact, and it'd be a picture of the Joker. It'd be, we live in a society where it's okay for people to shoot other people, but it's not okay to say, I like rice, or something like that. And it was always a picture of the Joker, and it would always be starting with, we live in a society. So it just became the society meme.
Okay.
And that was big around Dark Knight era.
Before I was into memes.
So pretty old, yeah. But I've done my meme lore research, so I know these things.
You're a memeologist?
Something like that.
Not to be mistaken for meteorologist. Speaking of which, it's freaking getting snow here.
Well, wasn't when I was out there. It's been on and off today,
all day.
And it's been mostly sleet rather than snow.
Could you define sleet for me?
Frozen rain.
You mean hail?
No, hail is large chunks of ice.
Frozen
rain is mostly. I think hail is frozen in the clouds, and sleet is frozen on the way down.
Okay, because my definition of sleet has always been like a mixture of kind of like somewhere between freezing rain and... Like there's freezing rain, then there's snow, and sleet lies on the space between freezing rain and snow.
Are we going to review sleet versus...
Yes. I had an argument about this with my wife, so... It's
okay, well, it's... I mean, if you look at it, you can tell the difference immediately. Hail is big, and usually not falling quite as densely as because you get rain and hail at the same time. You don't get sleet and rain at the same time.
Yeah, you do. That is explicitly in the definition, usually with rain.
Okay. Well, you wouldn't confuse it with snow, for sure. Because snow and sleet are two different things.
I would think sleet's actually closer to snow than it is to...
Not in how it falls, or how it forms, or how it's even shaped.
It's actually very similar.
Sleet comes straight down. Snow floats. Snow is in flakes. Sleet is in pellets.
So it's like hail.
Closer to hail than okay. It's like halfway between snow
hail and snow. Okay, that would I agree with. I would agree with that. I guess, maybe.
It's not like I know what I'm talking about. Anyway, yeah. I don't know why we even bother. So,
spoilers out of 10. Spoilers out of 10. I like that. So to touch on this, but I want to get back to your thing, like that doesn't actually explore any of the social commentary that they talk about. That's what I love about it. Like, I loved that Why, that's not what I love about it. I loved that part of it because it's what I got from it was it's all from the Joker's perspective or from him, and he doesn't care. Like, all of that social stuff going on around, he gets a kick out of it because it's like, oh yeah, I kind of started that. It's for me, but he doesn't care about it. He cares about that. It's about him.
He doesn't seem to acknowledge it in the least. He specifically says it has nothing to do with any of it. And before going into the talk show, he's like, eh.
Yeah, but no, yes and no, because he gets like happy about it, and he writes in his journal about how he's like, people are finally starting to notice me. Like,
I don't remember that part.
Yeah. Like, he gets happier as he goes more mad, and the movement and all the clowns around, and he knows that that's him. Like, it's...
I don't think he cares about the stuff going on with the clowns around him at all. I think they're there, and there's the one point where he's cheering to sneak past him. I don't think he cares at all, but...
Well, he goes and, like, stands in the crowd and is kind of, like, cheering with
them.
To
sneak past and get in the building.
Well, I don't think that was the only aspect of it there. He was kind of there and getting a kick out of it. It's not like he cares about it. I agree with you there, but he likes that... It's the self-absorbed aspect of it. It's about him. It's not about it. The only reason he cares about it is that he feels it's about him, and it's like an honor to him. Like, this is something about me. Not that he doesn't care about it at all.
I don't think he cares that it has to do with him either. I don't know. It's a movie that very much wants to be a discussion piece, and I'm just kind of...
I liked it.
Because I just went in wanting a movie. I didn't need a discussion piece. I don't, because I had a number of problems with it. I think him getting away with all the stuff he does is unrealistic. They say he's not arrested yet because he wasn't at home when the police showed up. So why
Not
the
police.
hell? Yeah, police.
They were never police.
Yes,
they
there were literally 2 police officers.
They weren't police officers.
They were detectives.
Yeah.
Detectives are police officers.
But what would they have arrested him on? Suspicion?
Yeah, I mean,
Did they just arrest all the clowns?
No, they have plenty of probable cause for him. His mother's frickin' dead. They don't arrest him after his mother's dead. He goes back to his apartment, hangs out there, and they call him. Hey, can you come down? No, they don't come to his place to arrest him. They don't leave police officers.
Okay, so
they don't send anyone to him.
There's a whole lot of assumptions there that you made that the movie doesn't establish. Like, first off, it's never established that, like, he gets in trouble for his mother dying, or that
how the hell not?
How would they know that it was him?
There was machinery hooked up that tells people when the person in the room is dead.
Yeah.
And he was literally standing over her, smothering her.
And there were just people watching?
How are there people not running into the room when the machines are going nuts?
They didn't go nuts. It was
Why not?
They should have showed up after.
Why not? Why didn't the machines go nuts? He didn't do anything to him. It just doesn't happen, so he can conveniently continue the movie.
So you got to pull back. Like, this isn't like modern day where like they're actively.
Yes, it is. It's the 80s.
Yeah, that's not modern day. Like,
it's close enough.
There aren't like security cameras everywhere and like everything's
There doesn't
monitored.
need to be security cameras everywhere. That kind of technology where there's the flatline beep technology, which has been around forever. It doesn't do that.
It did that.
No, it didn't. It goes silent. It literally. I was listening for
it. Beep, beep,
and then it goes silent.
Okay.
It doesn't flatline. He smothers the mom and then he sits kind of back down in the chair. He doesn't run off or anything. Literally nothing happens because of it. He escaping with the stolen papers. That he just kind of hides in the stairwell. I would have been more okay with it if he left the building and ran, as opposed to stay in the actual building.
What I thought was actually going to happen there was he was going to like come back and like hand it back and apologize. Like, kind of lost my cool there. Sorry about that. Because like he didn't like break any laws. Like, that's literally
it's illegal to read
his mother's.
Yes,
his deceased mother.
Was she deceased?
I think she was deceased. No, she wasn't deceased because he went and.
It's still, you need consent to release those kind of forms.
But his mother's hospitalized, and like
that doesn't matter at all.
She was like
personal experience. They were not going to operate on me for my appendix until I gave consent, and I was literally incapable of giving consent. And they had my dad had to come up, shake me, and say, "Give me consent to tell the doctor."
They couldn't give consent?
No, they could not.
Wait, were you an adult?
Yes.
Okay.
Then
you need to have power of attorney.
Yes. They needed a... Yeah.
That's insane.
Which is why I don't buy it. Had my dad not physically intervened, I would have died.
That's crazy.
It's... There's a lot of procedural stuff in the movie I just do not buy, and it's frustrating.
Okay. Because I thought the only reason he didn't give it to him was because he saw what the details were. He's like, this guy does not need to know this.
No,
that's definitely how they portrayed it. I mean, he got all the records for it. He was like, oh yeah, I can't really give this to you.
I'm going through corporate compliance training right now, so consent is a huge thing for releasing documents, and it wouldn't happen. He wouldn't just hand the documents to him, even if they were. I
still wonder how much that's a modern day thing. Like, stuff was so much more casual in the 80s. Like, we've gotten so much more strict about everything like that.
Possibly, okay, but that's still not the point. The point being, why the dude didn't call the guards or anything, and he just Arthur just kind of gets to sit in the stairwell and read.
Well, you heard like people moving around. Like
you heard a door open and close. That's about it. There
Yeah.
wasn't any sort of rush or anything. It was just.
he also didn't spend a huge amount of time there. Like maybe
We
5
don't
minutes
know. It
reading
cuts
that.
away.
But like, that doesn't.
He does a lot of shit and faces zero consequences for
I
it.
don't see that many consequences from that. Like, what's the worst case that happens from there? They take the stuff back and they kick him out. Like, they're not gonna like arrest him and send him to prison for having.
Not send him, commit him to the damn hospital. Because
Oof.
that's basically what he was asking for when he went in. Because he goes up to the dude and said, maybe I would be happier in here. And the dude's like, I'm not dealing with this, whatever.
Yeah, because that's not his job. He's just a freaking clerk.
But it is his job when stuff gets stolen from him that he's supposed to hold on to. And then...
I doubt. Like, he wouldn't... He's just a clerk. Like, he just handles the paperwork. You're like, fuck, he stole it. I'll call it in. Maybe.
He made the point to shout angrily after him.
Yeah, hey, come on.
No, it wasn't, come on. It was angry. It was actual anger. It wasn't dismissive.
That's not
sounding.
how I remember it. It was more of like a... I wouldn't describe it as like... what's the term? Like, just dealing with it, kind of like consigned to the situation. Try to think of the word for it. But yeah, he didn't seem like he cared that much. Like, he cared a little bit was how it came across to me in my memory from a while ago.
Because I'm trying to remember, I think... Doesn't the Joker slam him into the grating?
No, other way around. He slams his face into the grating. Yeah, it scares him.
And then, because other things like the whole girlfriend thing, the imaginary girlfriend, I didn't buy that for 1 second.
The whole thing, or
the whole thing, the whole the girl coming to him and being like, "I like you." I didn't buy that at all. And I think I'd probably blame that on the early dream sequence with him in the show on stage. I'm like, okay, this is the kind... It's going to play on our perception. It's going to be all what's going on in Arthur's head, so I didn't buy any of it.
Okay.
And that might just be personal level kind of thing, but...
I thought it was a little preposterous, but not out of the realm of possibility. Like, I don't know. You see weird couples like that. I mean, sometimes it just tickles your fancy just right, and she... see something different.
And again, it kept cutting away from the world around him because he does the stand-up comedy show, and we don't get the sense that it's going to hell until much, much later when the clips are shown, and it's just the two jokes he told, and it's implied it goes well afterwards.
Yeah, that was a part that didn't make too much sense to me. That specific one I agree with. They should have showed more from it to show that it did go down the drain from there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that was well executed on. I'll give you that one. Can we step on... I really loved the girlfriend part because, like, once again, what tipped me off to the girlfriend being not real was, at first I was frustrated, like, oh, this like, this forced romance. This is so forced and it's not being fleshed out, and it just doesn't feel like they really give a crap about it. And, like, in the movie, I was like, that's the point. He doesn't give a crap about her. This whole romance is from his perspective, and it's not about the romance. It's all about, like, her as being a thing for him. There was a lot of that I saw in the movie where it's from his perspective, and it's so self-absorbed. And then, when he got to the medical hospital and had that bit on that was his mother, like, she had all these self-absorbed delusions. I was like, oh, yeah, see, that's all just playing right in. Like, so much of this plays into that self-absorbed delusion. Like, where these things aren't really happening, and it's his own perspective of how it should be, and it just... So, I figured out that it was probably fake, like, about halfway through the romance.
Yeah, it was... For me, it was so... tonally different from the rest of what was going on around him that I didn't buy it at all. I mean,
I thought it was
understanding the craft of the movie. They're not going to have this one really happy thing actually happening while the rest of the
thought they were
going to hell.
I thought they were going to execute it with her dying, like similar to his mother, or some sort of fit of rage, and he kills her or something. I thought they were going to take that glimmer of hope and twist it some way. And they did.
No, because not really, because he didn't. Because like you said, he didn't care. There was no.
He had the realization, and at that point, he was so far gone, it just didn't matter anymore.
Well, he never cared about her. He just wanted. He cared about the attention.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. It was all weird.
So one of the things I saw was one of the theories. Now that we're kind of getting into the deep into it, more of the movie was dream sequence than we realize. I think one of the theories is that literally the entire thing is a delusion that he had while he was in the insane asylum.
I heard that theory when he says you wouldn't get it for the joke. It's him hallucinating the entire movie.
I don't like that one, but I like the idea that more of it is a delusion than we realize, and it kind of leaves that up for interpretation. Like, I don't think he ever actually meets with Thomas Wayne. Especially when one of the videos I watched talked about how the cut, like, he cuts from being in front of the mirror to, like, directly being in the mirror at home. Like, it's the exact same pose. It just cuts from one mirror to another, and there's no transition of that. And I think the whole thing in the movie theater actually never happened. He never actually went and saw his supposed father.
I don't know. It was very realistically... No, because that was far too realistically portrayed to be in his head. And that's where a lot of character changing moments came from that scene.
Yeah, it did.
I don't know. I don't buy that.
Because, I don't know, can we go back to the hospital thing? Like, 80s technology, he smothers his mother, who is like, she's basically dead already. Like, she's very much on death's door.
But no one comes?
Yeah, I feel like someone had to have been, like, coming very shortly. And I'm surprised that he didn't do, like, I was expecting him to just kind of, like, put the pillow back under her head and just play it off.
Yeah, but he didn't.
Yeah, they didn't show that. But they didn't show any of it. They didn't show how that resolved.
They just kind of hang it there. And it's more about thinking about than whether or not it makes any sense. That's kind of what bugs me.
I feel like it could make sense. Like, I didn't feel there was an unreasonable amount of time between when she started having unpleasantness to death for someone to have gotten there. I feel like they cut out the part where they tried to resuscitate her and figure out what happened because he just didn't care. Like, it's not
he
great.
Gets away. I mean, the problem is he gets away with so much stuff. Like, and they just kind of have detectives like calling to him to try and get. They have enough reason to try and arrest him.
I didn't see that. Like, what would they have arrested him on?
The suspicions of everything. He's connected to the subway stuff. He's connected to the possession of the firearm.
How is he connected with the subway?
Clown with a gun seen specifically earlier that day as him.
Wait, what?
At the children's hospital.
Oh.
There is enough to tie him to what's going on. He was part of the clown thing, and then they had that he had a gun, but that's not. The clown thing didn't happen until way after killing people in the subway.
The clown thing didn't happen until way after.
The movement of the clowns, they have enough to tie him to the 3 murders in the subway.
No, because they really struggled there. Because they had...
No, they didn't. They just kind of let him go every time.
Well, okay, so they had that he was a clown. They had a whole group of clowns. They went and talked to the people at the clowns.
And they all accused him. There was enough...
Well, no. They didn't all accuse him. That definitely wasn't said in the movie. It came up that he got fired for dropping a gun at a hospital. And they asked him about that, and he says, if you want to know about the gun, you should talk to so-and-so. Like, he literally gives them a lead to go on about the gun. And he's like, it was part of the act. This is silly.
I don't know.
They did investigate him. Like, they didn't have anything to hard tie him to the thing.
Well,
We know you're a clown, and you had a gun, we think.
Well, not only that, nothing to do with his mom's death. He just kind of hangs out at his apartment after that.
That's not a huge time period between things. And once again, we haven't established that was ruled a homicide.
He just kind of goes about his normal everyday life with absolutely nothing going against the way he wants it
and
to.
they were coming to visit.
No, they made a phone call. They didn't come to his apartment.
Well, they were on their way there when they ran into him. Because they ran into him on the street.
Yeah, like the next day.
No, that was...
No, because it was...
So he killed his mom, goes home, the people show
climbs
up.
in the fridge. No, he climbs in the fridge and sits in there for however long.
So you're just going to assume it was a day? He spent a night
overnight
in the fridge?
Well,
He
it wasn't...
dead.
No, because he didn't... What do you think? He killed his mom at 6 a.m? No, it was... The sun was on its way down as he was killing his mom. And the sun was setting as he climbed in the fridge.
I want to remember that.
And I believe there was a message... It was the phone call about him... When was the phone call for him coming on the show?
Wasn't that before he killed his mom?
I don't know.
It is dark. So it must have been that night. I had gotten the impression that... Belle Delphine in the fridge. Yeah, I had gotten the impression that that was all killed his mom.
It's all super
went
damn
home.
confusing. See, and that's my thing. There are lots of things to think about, but as a whole, it's just kind of a confusing mess. And I think that's why I'm not big on the movie as a whole.
It all made sense in my head. I definitely got the time continuity there. Well, no, that's not the part where he got in the fridge. Maybe? Yeah, it is, because he threw the stuff on the ground. So it was at night when he got in the fridge. So then it must have been that next morning when he went to the...
It all feels like there's a lot of awfully convenient gaps for him to be able to get where he's going.
Because outside of the police not arresting him, and they really didn't have anything to go on there other than he had a gun, and they wouldn't have been able. They might have been able to connect the two if they had arrested him, confiscated his gun, but they'd have had some. That was a big stretch to arrest him on that. He's a clown and he has a gun. He's allegedly got a gun.
He's a clown. He has a gun he doesn't have a license for.
He allegedly has a gun he doesn't have a license for. There's a...
Can I see the prop gun?
And no, I don't have it on me. He gives him a lead to go on. He tells him a specific clown guy to go talk to. Tell him go talk to the guy who had given him the gun.
And, I don't know.
That is one convenience that I don't feel is outrageous. I think people are like, well, why didn't they arrest him? It's like, because he's like a clown in a city does not make him the clown killer. There's a lot of clowns.
My issue is they act like there's only the two cops in the city. It's just those two kind of there. They don't really...
Well, they're the only two investigators that are investigating that.
Why?
Do you typically assign a whole police force?
You assign more than... There's plenty of reason to get backup for murder.
Backup?
Especially when the 3 deaths have caused the cities to start to... Think Pratchett. Vimes would stop the entire police station when there was a murder causing the city to riot to solve that.
Now, admittedly,
then
you had just established or stated that the riots hadn't started when they went and talked to him at first.
The first time, no, but it was because they had started by the point he'd killed his mother, and they were coming to talk to him again.
And you think they're probably investigating other leads,
None of that is told.
Yeah, because it doesn't matter to him.
To him, no, but to the audience, it does.
But it's a story about him. It's not. We're not following the cop drama. I don't know. I think
that's why it's just one big think piece, and it doesn't do it for me.
I don't mind.
That's fine.
I feel like it would have absolutely taken away from the movie to try and You can only explore so much of the movie.
You only need like a throwaway line of dialogue. It's not that big. It's not that much of a stretch. But to not get fixated on this, let's talk about the climax at the game show.
Oh, I didn't have a problem with the game show. I thought you were going for after the game show.
Well, that too. But I mean, at the game show, there's another problem. There is, hi, I'm sitting on your stage. I have a gun and I killed 3 people. Why are there not security guards there?
Well, he was kind of trying to roll with it. Like, he was doing his investigation.
Who cares about what the talk show host doing?
He runs the show.
No, he doesn't. There are producers who sit off camera who run the show. He's the figurehead on screen. Why the heck isn't the guy behind the camera?
Go get the cops.
That's how it works.
Well, and they did do that. Like, the cops, like, they don't show the arrest, but I mean, that's what happens. He transitions from shooting him to going to...
Yeah, everyone. Where are the security guards for that building?
He never displays any aggression until he just shoots.
He straight up shoot. But no, he says he's murdered people. Why the heck aren't they calling
just like tackled him immediately?
No, standing off to the side, waiting to see what happens. Okay. There's literally nobody in the room.
Everyone had run away.
Yes.
I don't know. I wouldn't think that you'd normally have security like on set.
Yes, yeah, you would. I mean, especially for someone high profile like that.
Yeah, with live audience. But I think that the guy on the set has a lot more control over the thing.
That depends.
Than you'd think. Like I'm picturing like if you had like Colbert or one of the main like comedy talk show, or I don't know, remember the old guy that
Johnny Carson?
Yeah. Like those guys ran the show. They had a huge amount of freedom, and like if they wanted to keep it going, I imagine they were going to keep it going unless they like act of violence started happening on the thing.
Which did.
Yeah, and that's when it ends. Like, he goes up to talk to the camera and they cut it. Like, I mean, yeah, maybe it ran a little long, but that could happen. That's not outrageous.
It's still weird. And the problem for me is that seems like it's supposed to be the climax for his character, but it doesn't seem to amount to much. He just kind of shoots the guy. Let's see if I can describe it.
Because for me, that was the moment where he transitioned from suicidal to homicidal. Like, there wasn't like a switch that flipped. It was just kind of like that was when the curve just bent just enough that now it's a joke. Now I'm just in this for fun. Like,
well, no, he said, because he was saying it was always funny all along. That's my problem. He seems to change every scene, how he feels, how he acts, how. I don't know. Because I know I've read enough up on it that they wanted to specifically try and make it difficult to relate to the character, which is fine. The problem is it feels awfully inconsistent. And I think maybe that's the point. I don't like it.
Well, I don't know. Because part of that, like this whole movie, he's on meds and off meds and progressing through that transition, which, speaking from not like personal experience, but from like family experience before, like, yeah, medicine can result in wildly different people, especially as you transition off. Like, who you are on, especially like on brain chemistry altering drugs for something like suicide or...
Yeah, and I believe that. It's just... I have no issue with he goes more crazy when he's not on his drugs. I think that's a very important part of the movie. The problem is they seem to imply he was still crazy on the drug. They don't seem to show the drugs having any kind of effect at all, other than they say, oh, they don't have any effect now.
And they're not doing enough. Well, I mean, he was functional.
He kills people on drugs. Like, on his drugs, he kills his first 3 people.
Yeah, and that was perfectly honest. That was a reasonable killing outside of the last guy.
Yes, I would agree with that.
Like, he straight up did self-defense.
But he seems to act later like it wasn't.
Yeah, because I don't think he understands that it wasn't.
That's the problem. It's all down to interpretation at that point. The movie isn't making a stand. It's not.
Yeah, I think that was kind of the point.
Maybe I don't like it.
I love
That's my
that.
point.
This is like That's how Dark Souls tells stories. It's not about like how it beats you over the head. It lets the story play out and you explore it. I like that kind of storytelling where it I don't know what it's like, visual storytelling where it tells the story.
That only works if they don't present you with all the information. Dark Souls presents you with bits and pieces of information. This shows you everything and then refuses to make a statement about it. Here's a said.
Well, I mean, what do you mean doesn't make a statement about it? I mean, like, certainly
they never really.
I think everyone knows that wasn't what he did wasn't wrong up until he chased down that guy and like killed him.
Are you sure? Because everyone in the movie's acting like everything was wrong, and they don't know the story
exactly.
But
well, actually, no. I take it back. Think of it from his perspective. 2 self-defense kills. He executed that third guy. The third guy was straight up murder. Like,
yeah.
So like, he can't defend his actions. He could try and defend 2 of them.
But he never cares about defending. The problem.
Why would he? Like, he committed murder. They're like, you can't say, well.
But he didn't do it. He didn't murder people for fun. He murdered people in self-defense until the last guy. But he acts in the end like it was all done for fun. It's all over. It's all over the place in how it decides to pick it.
Well, what do you mean by all by fun? He says they were bad people. Like,
no, he says he didn't care. He thought it was funny that he killed him, and that's not how he felt in the moment. That's not how it was portrayed in the moment.
But he does. Like, that was more of a.
But he's saying he never did. That's what he said. I never cared. I always thought it was funny. I've been trying to pretend it wasn't funny this whole time.
Okay, yeah. But that's not saying that he didn't think it. I don't know. I felt like that was more of a state of his mental situation.
I don't want. It's making me mad because the entire point of the movie is to make us talk like this. It makes me mad.
I love that. I mean, I'm so surprised. I thought you would really enjoy this kind of discussion of the meaning and because I love
if it had its own opinion. The problem is it doesn't have its own opinion.
That's what's more. I find that's the most real thing about it. It's like how we discussed that Witcher video, and how it doesn't take a stance on the Bloody Baron. It gives you a real situation and kind of lets you explore. And that's how I felt about this movie.
I don't think it gives you the real situation, though. Everything, as you said, it's all dream sequence and confusing and what's madness, what isn't madness.
That's part of the reality of that, though.
No, because the Baron experience in The Witcher, it draws the line. He abused his wife. He still loves his wife. And this one is, does he love his mom? Does he hate his mom? Is it murder? Does he consider it murder? Does he feel bad about it? Does he think it's happy? It's all questions. There is no answer for anything in the movie, and that really bugs me.
Because I think the way they handled that from the good guys and not the good guys and bad guys, the way it handled the social commentary on I don't know how bad politically this is going to get into. We're going to get demonetized now for our monetization. Like,
yeah, all our money.
There was some clear ties between like the rioters and Antifa, and like the rich and like I want to say like I felt like they really portrayed the.
They went on class warfare pretty heavy. They went on mental health issues pretty heavy. But
I loved the way they explored the class warfare. Like, I felt like they both like showed Antifa and Trump and made it clear like how no one's really like the great guys here. Like, your guys are just freaking rioters. Sure. You're killing people. You're literally propping up the Joker. Like, you guys are like,
and that's fine. I like that. I have no problem with that. My issues are with the Joker himself in the movie. I like the societal commentary, and I think it's important to look at a lot of it.
But I keep going back. Like, isn't that like quintessential of the Joker? Like, that he isn't taking a stance on all this stuff. None of this stuff matters to him.
If we're going specifically Joker, that's my problem would be is the Joker in my head exists because of Batman, and this is a movie without Batman. Therefore, a Joker has zero purpose. And that's personal preference, and it's why I've been trying to not view this as a Joker movie. or as a Batman movie.
Okay, I take it back. There was one thing I didn't feel like it needed. The focus on Bruce Wayne I felt was very unnecessary and clearly just a nod to, hey, this is affiliated with Batman, you know that, right? It just didn't serve any other purpose than that.
It needed to have something with a high class person
I'm fine
in the
with
city.
The Waynes. I liked that
just
they did,
Bruce in general. You
yeah,
mean?
like specifically Bruce Wayne. I felt was an unnecessary focus of the movie. Like that was shoved in.
Yeah, I would say. Yeah, I would agree with that.
I think the focus on, I keep forgetting his name, but the father
Thomas.
Wayne, Daddy Wayne, Daddy
Thomas
Wayne. I felt Thomas Wayne inclusion in the movie was a great like way to have that kind of like class warfare there. I thought that was really good.
I thought, well, it was weird. Because I'm trying to separate, because I don't think the Thomas Wayne we've seen portrayed would act like that. But again, trying to
it's from
separate
his
from
perspective. Is it actually that bad? Is he actually that bad? Is he actually altruistic?
It's what it's shown to us, and that's what pisses me off. Well, it could be anything, but no, this is what is shown to us. Why can't we accept that at face value? Because the movie doesn't want us to accept it at face value. It's annoying. I hate unreliable narrators. Piss me off.
I that's interesting. I did not know this aspect of you. I really enjoyed this unreliable narrator. I think it's a fun way to do a story.
I feel like it's a way to do cop-out writing. It's, the narrator didn't know what was happening, therefore I can do anything.
Well, I don't think that they left it that open.
No,
like,
no, that's just a general complaint.
Okay,
about
that would be fair.
Unreliable narrator.
I feel like they executed on the unreliable narrator like very intentionally and with purposes in mind.
Well, and they do a lot before. Like Harry Potter, very much is an unreliable narrator, and
I don't think about it, but yeah.
And and it allows J.K. Rowling to do all the bullshit she does. Oh my god,
yes.
I
didn't talk about it, so actually everyone's.
Dumbledore was wearing roller skates the entire time. We didn't bring it up because it isn't relevant to Harry's journey, but they are there in every scene.
Unbeknownst to us, all of the staff was on roller skates. I mean, when the whole freaking castle's on roller skates, it's not even worth mentioning. All the
when
kids
everyone's
were on
roller skates, no one will be.
Please make that meme. I'm sorry. I take it back now. I definitely have a few complaints and a few areas where I feel like they could have improved on, but I'm still giving this a 10 out of 10. This is both a movie I didn't like and one of my two favorite movies this year.
I'm sticking with my solid eh.
Can you give... now I'm curious. Do you rate any other movies this year higher than it?
Oh, yeah, I like Anna better. But that's about it.
It's been a rough year.
It's been a rough couple of years.
Don't worry. We've got Star Wars to look forward to.
Yeah. Bunny Senpai knocks this out of the frickin' water.
I think I actually have more complaints about Bunny Senpai than this.
Really?
I liked its ending worse.
You liked its ending worse.
The ending felt like such a cop-out, but we'll talk about it.
Okay.
Actually, I was going to say, the ending on this one was actually, I think, one of its weakest points. It ended like 3 times. It was like they didn't know where quite to end it.
Yeah, they didn't know what to do with the ending.
Which is tough. I mean, it's
I like the final scene, kind of.
Yeah,
that was a very
away.
Joker final scene, which I enjoyed.
I will say, yeah. That was the best one. Like, when he got up on the car and, like...
No, not that one.
No, that was what I was saying. That part felt so kind of weird and random. And
what I was really hoping would happen is I was hoping he would take control and start to do things like...
Just start playing with it.
Yeah.
The power that he's got.
Make some sort of use of it. He just kind of is there among it, not actually... Because...
The biggest problem with this is I suspect that this movie is going to be a standalone.
Yes, and...
I don't think they have any intention of, like, rolling it into the Batman universe.
They definitely don't. From everything I've read, they don't.
I hope they don't. I think that would be an absolute terrible idea. This was a movie about Joker, like, like, the Batman multiverse, DC multiverse. Like, this is a Joker movie, not a Batman movie.
Well,
not going to be a Batman movie. It shouldn't be. I don't think that would work out well.
I think the superhero movie trend is on its way out at this point.
Yeah, I think Marvel milked it dry.
Yep. You're going to have to find the next big thing.
I don't know. I think they could keep it going if they produced good content, but they're...
It's gone on a lot longer, because, for a while it was pirates, and superhero, vampires. We've gone through phases. It's time for a new one.
I can't remember pirates other than pirates.
It was huge, man.
But there wasn't like a whole... Maybe I just don't remember, but I don't remember anyone else jumping on that board.
Well, it wasn't so much movie culture as it was everything else.
Like
Video games, books, TV shows.
I definitely remember the vampire phase. And you, Twilight, I hate you.
And the pirates had their own thing because there were pirate TV shows going on a lot too.
Okay. Yeah, I think superheroes are about...
I hope so.
We could have had a return to sci-fi if you hadn't butchered it so bad. Freaking Disney.
I wouldn't count sci-fi out yet.
We were set up for it. Like, they had another Star Trek coming out. We still have Picard coming.
No one thinks Picard's going to be good, considering how well they've handled all the other Star Trek. And I know I'm weird. I like Star Trek Beyond.
I think if they did a piece like Joker, like with Picard, not like the same style, but kind of like a personal exploration of Picard and kind of a focus on Picard as opposed to Star Trek, I think could work really well.
The problem is,
if you get the right
they can't do it in Hollywood. They
did
where
it
it is.
here.
Yeah, and how much shit has he gotten for it?
Yeah, that's a good point. I can't believe they made this. Oh, can we talk about that? Like, the way that they got so upset about it. Like, the critic reviews are outrageous.
Here's something I want to bitch about in particular. What makes making Joker sympathetic any worse than making Loki sympathetic? Or any other attractive villain character? It's such a freaking double standard. He's hot, therefore it's sympathetic.
And he wasn't even hot in this.
No, that's the point. Is we can't sympathize with the Joker because
you don't ever sympathize for him. You feel bad for him at best.
No, that's the point. Because you shouldn't sympathize with the characters like Loki and the Doctor Who villain, but people do because they're time to thirst after him. It's really stupid. There's a lot of sympathetic villain culture, like Phantom of the Opera. Huh?
Thanos, like that's what
Thanos. Yeah, Thanos. People sympathize with Thanos. People sympathize with Loki. Phantom of the Opera.
I feel it's the sign of a well-developed and complex villain.
Well, then what would you call the Joker? Like, why were people so ready to tear apart this movie before it even came out? That's my thing, is it's all a double standard. If it doesn't line up with what they want, they will turn on it.
I don't know what was special about the Joker. I think somehow it got tied to the whole incel and
the white male
shooter kind of thing, and
which is stupid.
Because this was not that. I don't like. I see these reviews like Joker is a movie you ignore at your own peril. Like, what world do you live in? Like, at worst, what this movie kind of hits on is that everyone is culpable in these things. Like, sure, the Joker's the one who did the bad stuff, but he was surrounded by people mistreating him and pushing him down this road. Like it's supposed to be about how you should be helping these people. Like,
yep.
It was almost outright explicit about that, about how he was ignored, how he didn't get the medicine he needed, and his counselor got cut, and just everything. Like, we need to be. Oh. It's such a, like you said, it's such a heavy double standard, and it just seems so hypocritical. Unfortunately, it feels like this boils down to it's a white male that we're talking about, and therefore it's not acceptable.
White male.
Like, if
not conventionally attractive, because Loki's white male,
Yeah.
but people love him for some reason. And I mean, I never.
Yeah, I think that he's overrated.
Well, and then they frickin' threw him away in Infinity War. I'm not getting into that.
Still better than Star Wars.
Everything is better than Star Wars now. I had a point. Hang on.
Where I was going with it, if you don't mind me jumping in, is that
Good.
I feel like if they had, I hate to say this because it's something they would do, if they had recharacterized this as someone who's LGBT who is going through a similar type of experience and going down this rabbit hole, or like someone of a different race, or like if you'd put it like in one of the more traditionally acceptable, what is the word, persecuted groups, they wouldn't have gotten this backlash at all. Hell, it probably would have been like held up on a pedestal, like, look at our diversity. But because it's a mentally ill, poor white guy, suddenly it's not acceptable. Like, this is a real thing that affects America and the world, and really frustrates me.
Mm-hmm.
I think the thing that frustrates me the most about the movie is the critic reviews.
The backlash, yeah.
Screw you, critics. You really are off the mark on this one. And
I mean, they fall along political lines, probably. I mean, reviewers have always been so far disconnected from the audience that, well, not always, but the reviewers in the past several years have been so far disconnected from the audience that it's basically two different nations consuming and reviewing products.
It's a shame.
It's annoying.
I'm super happy because this movie really made a lot of money. I think it broke like Deadpool's rated R record.
I have no idea
for profit. It's
I haven't been keeping up with my new stuff because of the new job and being out of state, so
lame.
I don't know. I can't just sit around and watch YouTube for 8 hours a day anymore.
You actually have to do work.
Yeah.
Wow, we've been recording for an hour.
No. Well, that's pretty great.
It did what you didn't want it to do.
And I've been actively fighting against it this entire time.
Okay,
too.
what'd you think of the way they handled the laugh? I thought that was like the one twist on my expectations that I thought was really cool.
I mean, what specifically? Like
That it's literally a medical condition, and that's where his laugh came from, and it's the Joker's laugh is something that's so easy to get wrong. Like, think of what's the most recent Joker, Jared Leto, and just how
I don't even remember his laugh. I probably scrubbed that from my memory on purpose.
And then they did it. Like I said, it's good to see them have done his laugh so well.
Well, because they do several different laughs. Because they do the mentally afflicted laugh, they do the trying to blend in laugh, and the actual crazy laugh. It was interesting.
I liked it a lot. I can't remember the laugh from the Dark Knight Joker.
I do. It's in the trailer. We can watch it later.
That's a movie I need to rewatch.
I wasn't as taken with Dark Knight on my first viewing as everyone else was. But I was younger at the time.
Baby. Age-wise, not like mentally.
Why not
saying
both?
you're young. You get it. I'm not trying to throw an insult at you. I'm just saying you're young.
Yeah, I know. Honestly, I always liked Batman Begins better as a Batman movie.
I stopped liking Batman Begins before Dark Knight even hit. I don't know why, but I got real sick of Batman Begins.
It's odd. I liked how it portrayed his character. Well, because it was always... Cartoon was always the best. Cartoon was always...
Can we agree, though, that the Bane was very dumb?
Bane, I don't know why they decided to give him silly voice. It was so weird.
I actually didn't mind the silly voice. I just thought the whole movie was really dumb. I'm going to break your back. You'll heal quickly.
I liked parts of it. I was hoping they'd bring Ra's al Ghul back to life. Yeah, it was weird. superhero movies, man. I'm so
Batman-
ready to be done.
Batman might have the most freaking bipolar. DC has the most bipolar like movie.
But yeah,
Like
I was gonna
they
say-
are so all over the place.
no, I was gonna say Spider-Man though.
Honestly, the lows of Spider-Man are not nearly as low as the lows of DC.
I don't know.
My man.
Emo dancing Spider-Man?
I liked emo. That was such a cool like.
No, it's not.
it was
It's
great.
stupid.
Yeah, that was the point.
No, it wasn't. The point was to be edgy.
That was pretty bad. It was not nearly as bad as
Justice League.
Justice League. That was
Yeah.
so bad.
Justice League is a bad. It's a very bad.
I'm gonna put my money right here down on this. Justice League is the single worst superhero movie ever.
I don't know. Straight to video Captain America 99. I don't know.
I'll take Adam West Batman over.
Well, Adam West Batman isn't bad in terms of production and structure. It's just different to what
silly.
we're used to.
And it was kind of trying to be silly. Like it had its thing that it was doing, but
I'm sorry for coughing.
I'm congested too. I'm trying to do it off as much as possible.
Well, it's the three different ages of Batman. So you've got the Golden Age Batman, which is the Adam West silly Batman. Or no. That's Silver Age.
There's Golden Age has to be the cartoon.
No, this is actual comic book specification.
Oh,
so
okay.
The Golden Age would be, it was early 50s to 60s, I believe. And that would be, probably the closest portrayal would be Tim Burton's Batman. And then the Silver Age would be the Adam West style. And then the Bronze Age is probably closest to the cartoon or Dark Knight.
Are the Tim Burton ones regarded fondly?
People like the first one.
They don't like ice.
No, those are treated as some of the worst movies ever.
He straight kills someone in that one. Shoots him with a gun, doesn't he?
I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen him.
You haven't?
No.
Oh man, we have to do a viewing of those.
Because
Those are freaking classics.
I saw the first
The
one with Jack
Riddler.
Nicholson as Joker, and
I don't remember that one nearly as much as Batman Returns.
People are all like, Jack Nicholson's such an amazing Joker. I thought he was
Yeah.
fine. He's
Yeah.
there.
I rate him below Heath Ledger and
Mark
Marky Mark.
Hamill.
Oh well, yeah, of course below Mark Hamill. I was gonna say Joaquin Phoenix. He's one of my favorite Joker renditions by far. Like hard to beat Mark Hamill, but Joaquin Phoenix really did a good Joker.
I will say he did a good man spiraling into madness. I won't say he did a
Well,
good
yeah, because he
Joker.
didn't do the Joker much. He basically just touched on the Joker there at the end. And he did a good Joker there at the end.
Yes. But that specific scene, I'll say anyone could have acted.
Anyone? I challenge you to let Disney do that. I don't even care who they put that in that role. If Disney did it,
100% of Disney's acting has been great, even if the characters are written shit.
True. True. Fair enough.
Okay, except Daisy Ridley.
Daisy Ridley.
Ray.
I think her acting's been
She has one expression.
in the first movie. Her acting was pretty good.
Maybe.
I think she did a really good job.
She didn't
in the
have
first
much
one.
to work with in the first one.
The second one, I can't give her too much credit for, but she didn't get much of a chance. So
I shouldn't criticize her because I'm a Hayden Christensen defender. So
same actually. I think the prequel trilogy way underrated, especially episode 1.
treaties, negotiations, Chancellor. It's the big word Star Wars movie. That's what I always called it. Was the big word Star Wars movie.
Star Wars
Invasion.
midichlorians,
Trade Federation,
blockades,
taxation,
Amidala.
vote of no confidence. It's the big word Star Wars.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else we want to talk about with the Joker.
Joker? I hardly know.
You don't get words of wisdoms for the viewers.
I'm sorry.